Good morning, dear students. So, in the last class, we have discussed about the relationship between the planning and the controlling. Okay, so these are all those concepts you already know. Today, in this session, we are going to discuss about the controlling process. Controlling process, you already know. Controlling it is also one of the very important management function. So we are going to perform, we can easily achieving our organizational goals and objectives. So in the last class we already discussed planning are like standards and the controlling having the interrelated and interrelationships. Okay, so why means they have dependent each other. Without planning, so there is no control, there is no proper control, we are not possible to implementation of our successful plannings into organizations. Okay, so that's why controlling is one of the very important management function, it involving certain steps. Okay, certain steps we are going to perform into the controlling. Okay, that will be considered as the controlling process. Okay, so this controlling process including the 5 steps. Number 1 is setting performance standards. You already know. First, we are going to set our standards on the basis of our organizational objectives, goals, or any aims. Okay. On the basis of this, we are going to setting the standards. These standards only we are going to achieve in our future days into the organization. So this is the first step, setting performance of standards. So next one is measurement of actual performance. Okay, you already know controlling is nothing but measuring the actual performance comparing with the standards. Okay, so main activity to the controlling means we are going to measure the actual performance with the help of standards. Just we are going to measure it. After that, comparison of actual performance with the standard. After measuring, just we are going to compare it. What is standards? What is actual? What is anything happened? This is the comparison of actual performance with the standards. Next one is analyzing deviation. Okay. After comparison, just we are going to analyze the deviation. How much changes has happened. So this will be considered as analyzing deviation. So next one is taking corrective action. Okay. On the basis of the deviations like changes, just we are going to take certain measures to improving the standards. Okay, that's for taking corrective action. Okay, we made certain changes and the activity should be corrected as per our standard set. Finally, the controlling process should be completed. Just I can explain in brief, but we are discussed in detail how to setting this performance of standards and each and every one. Okay, so this is the main controlling process. This is also one of the very important question for 5 mark. Just we can I give a brief introduction about this. Just we can go into discuss in detail by one. Clear? So number 1 is setting performance standards. Okay. So this setting performance standard is the first step in controlling process. Clear? Setting performance standard is the first and foremost step into the controlling process. Like these standards are the criteria against which actual performance should be measured. Okay. So just we are going to measuring the actual performance. Okay, so this actual performance, it is always standards oriented. Okay, on the basis of these standards only we are going to measure in the actual means at present what the activity should be going on. Okay, present ಏನು ನಡೀತಿದೆಯೋ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಬೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಷರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So that's why standards is one of the criteria against actual performance should be measured. Actual performance ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so that's why standards can be set in both qualitative as well as the quantitative terms. Yeah, standards should be set as per both qualitative and this quantitative terms. This standard set in terms of like a cost incurred, then revenue to be earned, then a product's units to be produced and sold. This type of time of spent into the performing a task. So these are all those things should be considered as the quantitative standards. Quantitative and just you can possible to measure it. Clear? The standards can be set into the quantitative standards and also qualitative. Yeah, standards should be set as per the qualitative and the quantitative standards. Quantitative ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Quantitative ಅಂತ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು you can possible to measure it, identified on the basis of the numbers. Okay, for example cost incurred. ಓಕೆ, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಒಂದು 10 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು 10 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು 1 lakh rupees ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 1 lakh rupees spent ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ 10 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕರ್ಡ್, ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಅರ್ನ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಟು ಮೆಷರ್ ಇಟ್. Then products produced units. Now already given an example like we are producing 10 units, just we are going to measure it. Okay, then number of units should be sold. ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 1 month ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಸ್ 2 months ಅಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Yeah, these are all those things, quantitative standards. Then qualitative standards. What is this qualitative standards? So we are not possible to measure it, this qualitative standards. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ numbers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, just we can feel it. Like a qualitative standard, for example goodwill already know. So good reputation of a firm. Okay, good name or reputations we can go to earn. So when the people, any business having the good marketing conditions, when any business get good profit, so like that, this time automatically the companies or any organizations goodwill should be rising. That is improving goodwill. Then motivation level of employees. Okay, so these are all those things should be considered as the qualitative standards. Yeah. So at the time of setting these standards, a manager should try to set standards in precise quantitative terms. Why means quantitative terms we can possible to easily measure it. Okay, so the time of you are setting any standard, the manager can be set as per the quantitative terms. Okay, this would be make their comparison with the performance with the task. Okay, ಈಗ for example so here for example we take 1 month period of time. In 1 month we have certain set of standards, we can produce 1000 units of products we can produce in 1 month. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 month ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 1000 units ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಈ 1000 units ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, that is the question. Okay, ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಒಂದು 1 month ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರನೇ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದಾಗ ಈ 1 month ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಏನು 1000 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1000 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ 1 month ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ನಾವು ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ 1 month ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ನಡೀತಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ, ನಾವೇನ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಡೀತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಡೀತಿದ್ಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸೆಟ್ the quantitative terms. He can going to measure on the basis of the quantitative terms. Like important that any standard should be like flexible, then enough to be modified whenever is required due to the certain changes. Okay, then taking place in internal and external business environment. Why means the standards is the it is one of the future oriented. We can just as per our assumptions. We are not expecting properly in what is happening to the future. Correct? So that's why the standard should be set as per our guess, our imaginations, or certain assumptions. Okay? So that's why at the time of we are going to setting these standards, we can going to modify on the basis of our ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಿಂತ ಏನೇ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ತರನೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? So these are all those things. This is the first process, the first step in the controlling process, like a setting performance standards. Yeah, this is one of the very important to measuring the actual performance. We can set as per our future modification or any flexible changes should be happen. On the base of that, we can set this standards. Okay, this is the first step of controlling process. So after setting this all of standards, so next one is measurement of actual performance. Okay, so next one is measurement of actual performance. Okay. So measurement of actual performance is the another step, second step of the controlling. So this sometimes say we can using different several techniques for measurement of performance. We are going to measure on the basis of the standards. That this all those things you already know. Okay, that's why you can use several techniques for measurement of performance. These include then personal observations. Okay, sometimes we can